Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Hard Count. I'm Michael Imam, and I recently had the opportunity to interview Peter Schuh out of St. Joseph Regional High School in New Jersey. Schuh is a member of the 2022 class and currently stands at 5 foot 11 inches and 186 pounds. Schuh's film shows he has terrific vision and speed and can play a variety of positions on the football field. And Schuh also has an incredible backstory, from his childhood, and serves as a role model for a lot of younger athletes. And we talk a lot about that and more on this episode. All right, everyone, here is Peter Schuh. Hope you guys enjoy this one. So tell me a little about your high school, St. Joseph Regional High School in New Jersey. Tell me a little about your program over there.
Yeah, so it's a great school. It's highly academic and highly competitive when it comes to sports. We play in the Big North Conference, which comprised of Don Bosco Prep, St. Peter's Prep, Bergen Catholic, and that's the non-public Group 4. And we're about 500 students, so it's a very tight and close school. We have our motto is the Vir Fidelis, which means the faithful man, and that really represents how we run things at St. Joe's through the football program and just as a school as a whole. And everyone's really close, and the brotherhood's like really tight at school. And I'm really comfortable at St. Joe's, and it was a great choice for me to go there, and I'm very proud I made it.
So your film looks pretty good on here. Have any coaches gone about how have your coaches gone about developing you into the player you are now? What has changed about you since you were a freshman?
Well, obviously, besides being bigger, faster, and stronger, I've improved my overall football IQ through hard work and watching my film and breaking down opponents' films. And I've also just expanded my knowledge of the playbook, which has really allowed me to elevate my game and to perform better and make smarter plays and make less mental errors and just to always be prepared on game day so that I can make plays.
So what does your, tell me about your training regimen and what it kind of looks like and what workouts you do as a team. What does your typical week look like in your world?
Okay, yeah. So since I was 9 years old, I've always been training at Parisi Speed School. And I have two trainers, Corey Canisi and Joey Sundays. They've trained me since I was like 10 years old. So before I went to high school, that's where I really did mainly my lifting and my speed work. And then once I got to St. Joe's, we were constantly in the weight room and we're constantly conditioning. That's really a stress on our program is we believe in a lot of conditioning so that we can last until the fourth quarter and overtime if we need to beat a team close in the fourth quarter, and that we'll be at 100% and that teams won't be able to meet with us when it comes down to it, because we're just more conditioned, more stronger, more faster. And during the course of the week, we'll lift probably 2 to 3 times a week. There's either a morning lift you can do during the off season and during the season, or it's an after school lift that you can participate in. And it's really great how we run things at St. Joe's, and I love it.
So tell me a little about your parents and coaches. How have they kind of influenced you as a football player?
Yeah, so my parents and coaches have really influenced me greatly, because they've taught me really important life lessons that I can carry on past football, especially my coaches. And, my parents have always been there for me, motivating me to work hard, to always be the best you can be, no matter what you're doing. Even if it's not football, if you're just doing a regular job, make sure you can do the best you can at all times. And my mom, she's always had this saying, like 110%, always go above and beyond, because there's always someone out there that's doing something when you're maybe not. So make those small moments and make sure you can get yourself ahead of the game and get in front of the competition so that, you can go farther in life and go places and, be the best you can. And my parents have really influenced my high school decision because, they told me to follow my heart, because I had a lot of options. I could have went to high school, and, St. Joe's was a great fit for me. And, they've done a great job of making me feel comfortable, especially with all my medical stuff. They're very open to working with that stuff. It's a great school, and I'm so glad I made that choice. And, my parents have always taught me, and my coaches, that, the game of football really teaches discipline, teaches great life lessons that, you'll carry throughout your years in life, and that it's a really great game to get a part of and just to, to expand your life and enjoy experiences and live in the moment.
Yep. Awesome. So just to touch up, you mentioned your medical situation in an interview with Double G Sports. I just wanted to get into this, a bit of a personal kind of thing here, but I just wanted to get into the Double G Sports article. You talked about your life and how when you were younger, you were sent to the hospital and received a quote life-changing diagnosis with asthma, celiac disease, and heart defect stemming from a surgery. And at one point, the reporter in the story talks about how you lost 20 pounds, losing a pound a day, choking on food and drooling. And then in fourth grade, the reporter mentions you were diagnosed with eosinophilia esophagitis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing
Yeah,
that correctly. EE.
eosinophilic esophagitis. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
EE, which quote led you to losing so much weight and unable to swallow food. End quote. Reading about you overcoming this and persevering through it is quite inspiring. By the way, just
Yes.
from when I was
Yes,
kind
sir.
of reading the article. So to kind of follow up on that, what steps have you taken to cope with these kind of minor setbacks or major setbacks, however you view it, and how have you overcome them to be the football player you are now today?
Yeah, so as soon as I got all my medical stuff and I constantly were getting different diagnoses each year, I knew that my life was going to be a little different than the typical athlete. And I knew I would have to do certain things with my body in order to allow me to play at the level that I play today. So, I learned through all this, all my medical stuff, that you got to fight through adversity first. And then, it's really all about preparation and taking care of your body at the end of the day and staying on top of things. Because I got a lot of food allergies, a lot of medical stuff. And I know if I don't stay on top of things, that it's going to be on me because I'm going to get sick again. And that's going to take me off the field and not allow me to do the thing that I love is play football or just go out and have a good time with friends and stuff like that. So it's really important for someone like myself to stay on top of things. And, I've overcome that by, staying on a very strict diet that, my doctors, my coaches, and my parents have figured out for me. And also to constantly work out, to keep my body in shape and, to refuel my body with food constantly. And that just so that my body's all level and able for me to do the game I love, which is to play football and to keep me on the field, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, yeah. You seem like a very disciplined young man, and I know that you kind of talked a little bit about in the article about how your family and your teammates and your coaches and kind of the whole town really supported you. How did they support you? Was it kind of like things like, hey, get well, get better? Did they do anything for you? How did they kind of support you in that regard?
Yeah, the town was great. People reaching out to my mom, asking me how I'm doing. I would have friends come over, just typically just spend 2 hours with me. And that would be the highlight of my day because I was going through a lot. And, the town was really great. If my mom was busy with work or my dad and couldn't make me some food or something, they would maybe drop off food to help my family out for dinner. And, the Wyckoff actually fire department in fourth grade when I was diagnosed with the eosinophilic esophagitis or the EOE, like during Christmas time, I was really kind of down on myself. I was going through a lot and, I didn't really understand it. It took me a little while to understand like why this was happening to me and why it happened to me and that my medical stuff was a lot. And, they put together like the fire department, like came to my house and I was young. So I was like third, fourth grade. One of the firefighters dressed up as like Santa and, it was great. It put a smile on my face and, it made the days better when I was struggling. So it kept me going and it kept me motivated to get back on the field to do what I love and that I was not going to give up because that wasn't an option for me. It just wasn't. And I don't plan on ever giving up in my life. And yeah.
Some very, very inspiring. And I took a look at your film. Your film looks really good, obviously, and I can obviously see a lot about your personality and your perseverance and strength. And I think this is going to be interesting when you come up with the whole recruiting process and what schools are kind of looking at because you got a really great background and great story. But if you were to be in that college recruiting process and a college was going to take you, what would be the first thing that you would want a school to know about you?
The first thing I would absolutely want college coaches and schools to know about me is that they're getting a hardworking kid, first of all, that knows how to overcome adversity. And they're getting a guy that will never give up no matter how hard it gets because I've never given up in my life. I've faced a lot of tough things and I've never tapped out because it just wasn't an option for me. And, it's, it's been hard, but, you learn to motivate yourself through things and you learn to talk to people, express your feelings. And they're really going to get a guy that's just never going to stop. He's going to have a high motor and he's going to do anything it takes to win and, to be a great teammate. And he's going to change the locker room culture for the better. And that's what I'm really trying to do. I'm really trying to affect everyone as a whole and, not just elevate myself, but elevate everyone, the coaches, the team, just so we all can create a tight bond and, understand each other on a deeper level. And that's how really championship football teams are built is when, everyone's a family. And you got to get to that point if you want to be a championship team. So it takes a lot of time and effort and a lot of stuff, but with sticking to strict morals and values, I think it can be done.
Yeah, I certainly think you have what it takes here, and obviously you've got great discipline, and great leadership skills, and can obviously see that with some of the messages that you've been sending to everybody throughout the pandemic, encouraging them to do better and to stick with it and stay mentally right. And I wanted to ask you a question. I say this is kind of a tongue in cheek, and I think you will go places, obviously involving football.
Appreciate that.
But I did want to ask you, and I just asked everyone this is like a tongue-in-cheek. If you were to get drafted by a team, if you were to get drafted by an NFL team and your ultimate dream was realized, I just kind of asked this question for like NFL aspirations. What would that team be? What's your preferred team that you would want to be drafted by in terms of the NFL?
My preferred team, I mean, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, so that would probably be the dream, to be drafted by them.
Awesome. All right, Peter, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great experience.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. That was Peter Schuh out of St. Joseph Regional High School in New Jersey. If you'd like to contact Peter, his Twitter account is @PeterSchuh49. I'll be sure to put his huddle link and highlights below as well. If you'd like to contact me, my Twitter account is @ImamiMichael. My brand new Instagram page is The Hard Count with Michael and Imami, so be sure to check those out and give those a follow. It'd be much appreciated. My Facebook is also The Hard Count with Michael and Imami in case your parents want to go ahead and check that out. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well for more updates and showcases. I'm always on the lookout for some more talent. And I've got pretty incredible athletes coming up as well, so be sure to go ahead and click the bell button up there. Try and get alerts for those guys. All right, everyone. Appreciate you listening. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been The Hard Count. Do you have what it takes to go D1?